Hello and welcome back to another reaction. In this occasion, Avatar: The Legend of Korra Season 1, Episode 2. Yes, last time we got the introductory episode of the series and how the world has changed in the perspective of the inside world of this animation. Obviously, I have read your comments, and yes, perhaps I was portraying myself as too harsh when I spoke about Korra, and I want to amend that. Uh, I enjoy the first episode. I think it's exciting. It's kind of sad to see some of my favorite characters of the previous series of the Last Airbender knowing that they are dead. It's sad, yes, because I genuinely love Sokka. I genuinely love, and when I got 100% confirmation that he's dead for this series, yeah, it's kind of sad. As you might know, Sokka is probably my favorite character of the entire Last Airbender series. So that's why I kind of perhaps I portrayed as a bigger tragedy of what really was, because I bet the life that Sokka lived was a good life. And no, I haven't read the comics. I am still looking for them. I'm looking for them, and I don't know if I should make a review or a live reaction of the reading. I am still not 100% sure what should I do. Obviously, a live reaction is going to be very different of what I do this or how I do this. Obviously, I cannot see a video and I cannot react in a different way. It will be more of a voiceover, perhaps. I don't know. I'm still not sure. But obviously, now that I bring this topic to the table, please let me know what do you think I should do, because I am still dubious. So that is one of the reasons. One, that I cannot find them in good quality, and the second one is because I still don't know what to do with that series. If I should do something else, something extra with the comics of the Last Airbender. So let me know your opinion in the comments, please. But yes, as I was saying, and returning to the topic of me being kind of harsh towards Korra. That wasn't my intention. I genuinely like the first episode. I am trying to understand how this world has changed. And when I say the lack of imagination with the Republic City, it's actually more of a jab towards Aang, towards Zuko, because yeah, after seeing them in the last series, you kind of feel like, yes, they will name a city Republic City. That's who they are. I mean, come on, try to deny me that in a certain point their imagination is going to be over. And yeah, they are dorks. When you think about it, they are dorks. But anyway, yes, I enjoy the first episode. I like this new avatar. Obviously, as I said, I have my nitpicks, especially with the physical side of Korra, but perhaps that is going to be explained within the future, within the next season, or well, within this season, and etc, etc, etc. So yes, to change a little bit of the my narrative of the last episode, because yeah, perhaps that is what I was portraying. No, I really like this series. I was not going to be harsh. I was, oh yes, this series is not the same level of Avatar The Last Airbender, and perhaps it is, but that doesn't change the fact that this could be a wonderful series in the future. Well, for me, obviously you have seen it because yeah, it's over, but for me it could be a wonderful series. But again, what I maintain myself firm is that Avatar The Last Airbender is a lightning in a bottle. It's not easily to replicate. Even with the same circumstances, is not going to be possible, in my opinion. Perhaps this show is going to change my mind in the future. Oh yes, this is an amazing series too, on par to the first and original series. But even if it's not, as the same as the last one, as The Last Airbender, the Last Airbender portray a very, very, very high bar. A very obscenely high bar. So even if you don't reach that high bar, you still could be an amazing series. And this is what I want to see. An amazing series. And so far, it's not much, but so far, yeah, it has the potential of becoming a great, amazing series, Legend of Korra. So, I think I'm speaking way too much, and I think you're here actually to see me react to the episode. So, before that, obviously, let me just remind you that if you enjoy the content of the channel, please consider a subscription and turn on notifications. And obviously leave a comment and a like, because yeah, YouTube changed so suddenly and so frequently that I don't know what is now wanted. If it's likes, if it's comments, if it's sharing the video, I don't know. So if you could do all those things, I will be so grateful with you. Leave me your opinion about whatever we are saying about the episode, about my reaction, or about the commentary that is going to come out in the end. So, without further ado, other than to remind you that follow me on Twitter, and the Patreon is down there, let's just cut all of this and watch the episode, shall we? Okay, I'm back. I just watched a second time the second episode of the first season of Korra. And there are things that caught my attention. A few things that I did not see last time, and I mean the last episode, because obviously it was an introductory episode. The introduction of the Avatar. What we got in the last Airbender was a very goofy Aang, just playing with the ball of air, and he was just knocking out with the statue. So yeah, basically it was a very silly introduction for the Avatar, even if the story was a lot more serious, they're saving the world. And in this case we got a lot more serious introduction to the Avatar, just her being compared with Aang and this gigantic statue, because obviously that statue is meant to be portraying a very stoic person, a very powerful person, and Korra is doing kind of the same-ish pose that we got in the statue. But with the obvious difference that now we are introducing a very silly Avatar in which there is no global war that is threatening to destroy the balance within the same world, but it's more of an internal conflict, and I don't know the scale of said conflict. I don't know if it's around the world or it's just in this city or in this new nation of a kind of independent nation that we got in this part. So how serious is going to be, I don't know. How life-threatening is going to be, I don't know, because obviously it's just the second episode. But I'm intrigued into that subtext that we are presenting in this in the first episode, because again, this hasn't been explored in the second episode. It was just kind of dismissed for now, which is again is not a bad thing, because again, you're introducing to the new world. We got the basis in the last Airbender, and now we're introducing to the changes of said world. And as I said in my last commentary, it's kind of seeing the medieval side and then entering to the 30s and 40s in this in the Legend of Korra. Even to the point of the narration at the beginning, with this kind of sepia filter put into this well, in the last episode, and the goofy narration of the old-timey narrator said, "Oh yeah," with this kind of nasal voice that we're hearing, and yes, it's very reminiscent of that narration. I like that little detail. I enjoy it because yeah, the thing I see in my thumbnail when I start to watch the video is that sepia point. Says, okay, what is going on? But now I understand. I finally understand what is that thumbnail that I'm seeing in my videos, in my files. But anyway, moving on. Moving on forward to the world, from the world to the characters. We were introduced to several characters in the last episode, and we get a lot more of them. And not only that, we got a couple of new characters. The first ones that were introduced in the last one is obviously Tenzin, Korra, and the three children. Those kind of quick introductions, and from the last episode we got to see Tenzin, a very serious character, a very mature character, a very calm character. But that calmness is starting to break in this episode. Yeah, he tries to portray this calm, this very reasonable person, this very patient man. But with dealing with Korra, he's not that patient, not as patient as he wants it to be seen, because yeah, the point in which obviously Korra is doing something that he believes is not the correct way of training, he kind of gets mad, a little bit mad. And in the point in which we have seen so far the biggest fury moment is when Korra just went to the arena, or when he figured out that Korra went to the arena to. Perhaps he just thought that he wanted. No, wait, no. In that moment, she was participating. Yeah, he didn't notice when she was just watching the match. No, he knew full time that she was participating in the matches, which is in the mind of this man saying, okay, this is a lowly sport. This is a sport of savage. This is just not respecting the bending abilities of anybody, and they're just savage and all that. But at least that's how I believe he saw these bending matches. And you find out that the Avatar is participating and humiliating the Avatar prestige, let's say. Okay, he was so mad. But yes, again, we're seeing that he is not just one-dimensional character. He is obviously trying to be calm, but yeah, his character is kind of surfacing that he's not able to control all the time his emotions. Which is good, honestly, because yeah, you need to let go of your emotions from here and there before they start to escalate into a point in which you're going to regret letting your emotions go. But it's absolutely necessary. Just it's a cathartic moment for you to just let it go little by little. That is the ideal point. But anyway, yes, we got to see the different character in this case of Tenzin. Now let's go back to Korra. Korra is a very happy-go-lucky person. She has mastered at least 3 elements. The water, which is her natural element, let's say. The earth bending, which is more of a strong element. And of course fire, which is more for the will. And yeah, Korra has a lot of will. The problem that she has is with wind, with air. And I kind of see why. Aang was a very patient man. And this is obviously speaking about what we saw in the last Airbender. He's a pacifist. He tries to go with the flow. He's not forcing anybody. It's, yeah, like the wind. He is going there. He's moving. He is free. That was his major problem. That he wanted to be free. He wanted to explore the world before the Avatar responsibilities were put on himself. He wanted to go free, and that's what it provoked the war and the 100 years, and etc, etc, etc. So that's why. Korra is, well, her element is water. And we can see that in the training with the wood, the ancient woods, that you need to move like the wind and moving around and evading everything, and yeah, all of that. Water try to force its way out of whatever they're doing. They try to flow to the lowest point, or in this case to the ocean or whatever. But water forces their way out. Obviously, if you have a tiny amount of water, it's not going to be a force to be reckoned with. But that river is a different thing. They move, they clash against rocks, they even destroy the rocks within time. Obviously, it's not instantaneous. It's possible, but you need a lot of pressure to do that. But within time, it's a force to be reckoned with. Water is like that. They force their way through whatever they find, given a certain amount of time. Let's take the Great Canyon. The Great Canyon was formed through millions and millions of years of water going through that place. So yes, that's why water is powerful. Water is just like that, just trying to force their way out of their situation, to go to the place they go. Obviously, it's not consciously, because water is an object. But if you apply the same logic to Korra, you kind of see her like forcing her way out of the situation by force. And when she cannot do that, because it's not like water, she goes impatient and goes straight to strike with whatever element she can dominate. And this is what we saw here. She is not like the wind. I think she's the complete opposite of wind. So that's why she is having so much trouble with the same training that Tenzin got, because Tenzin is obviously just an airbender, just like his children. But Korra is not, and probably is the opposite element. Don't quote me here, let's say this is the truth. If not, just let me know in the comments. But I think that's the problem with Korra. It's just kind of the same difficulty that Aang had back then with Earth. Obviously, the pressure time for Aang is the war and the limited time that he had. And Korra is very impatient, very impatient. So yeah, she's not able to see or to say that yes, I can dominate this element. And I like that aspect, that they are trying to portray that yes, perhaps she's very skillful with the rest of the elements, but there is always an element that she is going to struggle with. And I like that. Give her defects, not make her perfect. And I like the fact that we're starting to see said defects, because a protagonist that is perfect is boring, is uninteresting, and we're starting to see her weakness. And I like how in the end, said weakness is starting to be trying to change, trying to make this attitude that Korra has and trying to transform it into an advantage or a new way of her to be trained. And she trains better when it's not forced into this meditation, into this calm moment. She's not like that. She has too much energy to do that. But then, of course, if you take into this high-pressure situation in which she needs to move, she needs to avoid danger, yeah, in a controlled situation, let's say, she started to shine. She started to shine under pressure. So I love how they say, okay, yeah, we can teach her airbending, not by the same method that it was used to train me, because yeah, I am a different person. So I like this, I enjoy this aspect that yes, they are treating every single character as a different person, not the same, they are not just the same character with different faces, that's it. But I like that even with Tenzin, that he started to understand, okay, yeah, perhaps what worked for me is not going to work for her, and yes, that was obvious from the beginning of the episode. So I like that aspect. Obviously, I hope we see more defects of Korra, because again, if you make her perfect, that it's just mildly inconvenient for her, it's not going to work. Perhaps the approach of this show is not going to be the same as with Aang, that his major problem was to dominate the other three elements, earth, fire, and water. Not in that order, but you get me. But her struggles are going to be, I don't know, teenage troubles, because yeah, it's been such a long time since I was a teenager. I could forget completely what a teenager was. Yes, that's correct. I'm a mature adult watching cartoons and anime. That doesn't state well with the statement back then. Anyway, yes, my point is that perhaps the struggles of this new avatar are going to be different struggles that, well, the struggles that Aang had back then. So yeah, that is something I welcome. Because I don't want to see Avatar The Last Airbender become Korra the last airbender or the last waterbender. I want to see something different, and I appreciate that perhaps the struggles are going to be different, the problems are going to be different. So yeah, perhaps that is what I'm going to see, and that is actually ideal for this new series. Not to be so close to the previous ones, because yeah, everybody's going to be comparing it to no end. Now, the new characters. Well, yeah, the three children. I'm going to speak briefly about them because I love how they behave differently. Some hyperactive, some are very young, and some very mature kids. So yes, I like the three personalities of the kids, and even I like the little jabs that's the mature kid. I don't recall her name. That's saying that I don't want any of you to be just this teenage rebellious, just like Korra. And I love how she said, "Okay, I cannot guarantee that." So yeah. Yeah, because she doesn't know, and she's mature enough to say, no, sorry, I cannot guarantee that. I love her for that single line, and that single line portrays a lot more of her attitude towards everything. Moving on to the new characters. It was Mako and Bolin. Yeah, Bolin. I like them. I cannot wait to see more about them. But my god, I cannot imagine how thirsty Bolin is. Jesus Christ, man. Calm down with the horniness, man. Yeah, he's thirsty. That is his main character so far. Obviously, it's just the first episode. But my god, that boy is thirsty. For now, just for the avatar, but I don't know if it was... Yeah, from what we have seen in this first episode, he's thirsty for every female that is attractive. But for now, he's focusing on the avatar. Which is, yeah, she's a very attractive girl. Anyway, he's very enthusiastic. He's willing to make friends with perhaps males and more than friends with females. But yeah, he's enthusiastic and I like him a lot. Now, Mako, on the other hand, is more of a strict person, a focused person, a person that he loves the sport, but perhaps he cannot withstand the fans of the sport. That he enjoys when he's out there, when he's showing off his craft, his firebending powers. But he doesn't enjoy the fact that, yeah, people is going to admire me. Which is weird and interesting, and I want to see. And I love how even he doesn't change much, even after figuring out that this fangirl, or what he thought it was a fangirl, was the avatar. Yeah, he said, okay, I'm an idiot, I did respect the avatar, but that doesn't change the fact that, yeah, I don't care in the end. I like that. Obviously, I don't speak about the third member because, yeah, he was just kind of a figure, a dummy there. Okay, he's going to be there, but he's going to be mistreated, and yeah, Avatar Korra is going to take his place. And yeah, she did. And again, the characters are interesting, and I want to see their interaction, or more interactions between these characters. Not only the two sports persons, Bolin and Mako, but actually Tencent and the other kids, and perhaps Tencent with these other two brothers. Which is odd. Perhaps the mother is an earthbender and the father is a firebender. I don't know. It's all over the place, and I still don't have any information about it. And when I said all over the place, is the kind of culture that we have in this city. Because yes, this is supposed to be a city for everybody, benders and not benders. And when I mean benders, all type of benders: air, fire, water, and earth. Obviously, the airbenders are kind of perhaps confined to this island, because they don't want to be bothered, they want to be extinct again, perhaps, I don't know. But yes, it's interesting to see all of this. It's interesting to see all what we are seeing in these first two episodes, because it's more of a world building. It's more of a saying this is how the world is now after Aang. And I cannot wait for the third one. But I think I exhausted the topic of this episode. I hope you enjoy it, and as always, let me just remind you that if you enjoy the content of the channel, please consider subscriptions and turn on notifications. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment so I know what you think about the episode, my reaction, or the commentary. If you want to share the video, please do so, because again, I don't know what YouTube wants now. I don't know if it wants likes, comments, sharing, I don't know, so please try to do all of them at once. Yeah, at once. All at the same time. But anyway, yes, I think I really exhausted the topic of this episode. Just follow me on Twitter if you want. Follow my Patreon if you want. And yes, I have nothing else to say, but thank you for your attention and see you on the next one. Bye.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, give it a like so the algorithm from YouTube will help me out. And check my other videos, share them, and also why not subscribe to my channel and join this community. And as always, I want to thank you for your attention, your likes, and even your dislikes, your comments, which is something I always look forward to read. And yeah, once more, thanks and see you on the next one.